Imagine building a train line that doesn't just cut through flat fields or rolling hills, but cuts straight through the towering Himalayas, one of the harshest and most unpredictable landscapes on Earth. Now imagine pouring a jaw-dropping $50 billion into making it happen. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what China is doing with its Himalayan Railway, stretching across altitudes soaring above 5,000 meters, and with over 80% of it consisting of tunnels and bridges, this project is nothing less than a modern engineering miracle. But why would China take on such a colossal high-stakes challenge? How do you build through landslides, avalanches, and some of the harshest conditions on Earth? And what does it mean for the future of the region? Let's find out. China has initiated a mega project called the Sichuan-Tibet Railway. And honestly, it's the kind of project that feels like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. Just imagine a high-speed train zipping through the rugged Himalayan landscape, connecting the bustling city of Chengdu in Sichuan province to the remote mystical land of Lhasa in Tibet. It's not just a railway, it's an engineering marvel that promises to rewrite the rules of travel in one of the most challenging terrains on Earth. First things first, the Sichuan-Tibet Railway isn't your average train line. It's designed to be faster, shorter, and more efficient than the Qinghai-Tibet Railway, which was completed in 2006 and has been the lifeline connecting Tibet to the rest of China. This new railway is set to cut travel times significantly, making the Tibetan Plateau more accessible than ever. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the construction challenges, let's take a step back and look at why Tibet is so significant and why this railway is such a big deal. Tibet has always been one of the most mysterious and isolated regions in the world. Nestled in the Himalayas and often referred to as the roof of the world, it's a land of towering peaks, massive plateaus, and a rich cultural history. For centuries, getting to Tibet meant crossing dangerous mountain paths or going on weeks-long caravan journeys. Even in modern times, traveling to Tibet isn't exactly a walk in the park. The railway changed that, offering a direct, albeit long, train route to Lhasa. Now, Sichuan isn't just any province. It's one of China's largest and most dynamic regions, home to Chengdu, a city known for its tech hubs, spicy cuisine, and, of course, adorable pandas. Sichuan has long been an industrial and cultural powerhouse, and linking it with Tibet isn't just about convenience, it's about strategy. The idea for the Sichuan-Tibet Railway gained popularity in the 2010s, caused by China's Belt and Road Initiative. This massive infrastructure push aims to enhance global trade routes, and connecting Tibet more seamlessly to mainland China is a key part of that vision. Tibet, as remote as it is, holds immense strategic and economic value. The region is rich in natural resources like copper, lithium, and rare earth elements, key components for technologies like electric vehicle batteries and wind turbines. In the Sichuan-Tibet Railway, China isn't just improving transportation, it's integrating Tibet into its economic network while tapping into these resources. But don't let the numbers and strategy fool you. Building this railway is anything but easy. The challenges are, quite frankly, monumental. Let's start with the terrain. The railway has to traverse the Himalayan region, which means dealing with towering peaks, deep gorges, and a whole lot of unpredictable weather. We're talking about altitudes that go beyond 4,000 meters, where oxygen levels are about 40% lower than at sea level. For trains, this isn't just an inconvenience, it's a safety and operational nightmare. Engineers have had to design trains with pressurized cabins and oxygen diffusion systems. Then there's the seismic activity. The Himalayas are one of the most earthquake-prone regions on the planet, thanks to the collision of the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates. Designing a railway that can withstand potential quakes isn't just challenging, it's downright nerve-wracking. On top of that, the railway's route is riddled with rivers and valleys, necessitating a mind-boggling number of tunnels and bridges. To put it into perspective, over 80% of the railway will be composed of these structures. One tunnel, the Yangbejing Tunnel, stretches an astonishing 42.5 kilometers. The construction team has also had to contend with harsh weather conditions, including freezing temperatures and landslides. Building in such an environment is like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape. But it's not just about overcoming physical challenges. There's a significant environmental angle as well. The Tibetan Plateau is an ecologically fragile area, home to unique wildlife and delicate ecosystems. Construction projects of this scale inevitably raise concerns about habitat disruption and long-term environmental impact. To address this, the project includes measures like wildlife corridors, waste management systems, and efforts to restore habitats affected by the construction. Speaking of construction, let's talk about how it's actually being carried out. The railway is being built in sections, starting from both ends. The stretch from Chengdu to Yan, a relatively straightforward segment, was completed in 2018. Beyond Yan, things get tricky. The middle section, which includes the most challenging terrain, is still under construction and is expected to be completed by 2030. This segment will involve 72 tunnels and 121 bridges, each a feat of engineering in its own right. Now, there's no doubt that the Himalayas are one of the most incredible natural wonders of the world, and they're also a place where nature loves to show off its raw power. They're infamous for being one of the most seismically active areas on the planet. This isn't just about the occasional tremor. Earthquakes here can literally reshape the landscape. So the engineers working on the Sichuan-Tibet Railway had to come up with some clever tricks to keep the track stable. One of their strategies is using shock-absorbing foundations. Basically, they've designed the railway to roll with the punches when the ground starts shaking. Flexible materials also help ensure the tracks don't crack under pressure. It's like building a giant slinky to survive nature's temper tantrums. Another huge headache is permafrost. Imagine trying to build something on ground that's solid as a rock during the winter, but turns into a swampy mess in the summer. It's like balancing on a popsicle that melts halfway through the job. To tackle this, engineers have installed cooling pipes and insulated foundations to keep the permafrost stable. These methods borrow from the techniques used on the Qinghai-Tibet Railway, but are upgraded to handle the unique challenges of this specific route. Transporting construction materials to the remote, high-altitude areas where this railway is being built is like organizing a road trip without roads. The terrain is rugged, steep, and at times over 4,000 meters above sea level. Once completed, the Sichuan-Tibet Railway is expected to bring massive economic and strategic changes. For starters, it'll slash travel time between Chengdu and Lhasa from 48 hours to just 13 hours. This isn't just a win for convenience, it's a game changer for trade and mobility in the region. Businesses will be able to transport goods faster and cheaper, which could kickstart economic growth in Tibet, one of China's poorest areas. Tourism is another big winner. Tibet's stunning landscapes and unique culture already draw millions of visitors, and the railway is expected to bring even more. Landmarks like the Potala Palace and Mount Everest Base Camp will become more accessible, which could inject billions of dollars into the local economy. This boom in tourism is likely to create jobs in areas like hospitality and retail, giving a significant boost to local communities. All this development sounds great, but it comes with a price. Tibet's delicate ecosystem. The region is home to endangered species like snow leopards, Tibetan antelopes, and black-necked cranes. The construction of tunnels, bridges, and stations has already disrupted habitats and migration routes. And critics worry that the eco-friendly features included in the design, like wildlife corridors and noise reduction barriers, may not be enough to offset the damage. The expected influx of tourists brings another challenge: waste management. Tibet doesn't have the infrastructure to handle the kind of large-scale tourism that's predicted, and increased human activity could lead to pollution and further strain on the environment. Building a railway in one of the harshest environments on Earth isn't just hard on the land, it's hard on the people too. Thousands of workers are dealing with freezing temperatures, thin air at high altitudes. The railway runs through areas that are critical to China's ecological balance, including biodiversity reserves and natural barriers that regulate the climate. Building in such a fragile environment means there's a constant risk of soil erosion, desertification, and geological hazards. Cutting into hillsides and tunneling through mountains can strip away vegetation, which is notoriously difficult to regrow in biodiverse areas. Efforts are being made to minimize the damage, like keeping waste materials away from sensitive habitats and restoring vegetation in disturbed areas. But the challenges are enormous, and the long-term impacts on Tibet's environment are still uncertain. To make all this work, engineers are leaning heavily on cutting-edge technology. For instance, they're using an integrated monitoring and early warning system to predict geological hazards. This system combines satellites, drones, radar, and sensors to collect data. If there's a risk of a landslide or earthquake, new materials and designs are also in the mix. Some of the building materials can self-heal cracks caused by earthquakes, while tunnel structures are being designed with flexible joints to handle seismic movements. It's like giving the railway the ability to adapt and heal itself, ensuring it stands the test of time. Despite the challenges, the Sichuan-Tibet Railway is more than just a transportation project. It's a symbol of connectivity and progress. For travelers, it promises a faster, more scenic route to one of the most breathtaking regions in the world. Imagine watching the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas whiz by as you sit in a comfortable, high-speed train. And for China, it's a statement of ambition and capability, showcasing its ability to tackle some of the toughest engineering challenges on the planet. Of course, not everyone is thrilled about the project. Critics argue that the railway could accelerate the assimilation of Tibetan culture into the broader Chinese framework. Others worry about the long-term environmental costs, even with mitigation measures in place. These concerns highlight the complex interplay between development, culture, and conservation in a region as unique as Tibet. And there you have it. The Chinese railway project is proof of how incredible engineering can reshape the world. From building tunnels through huge mountains to laying tracks over long distances, it's truly amazing. If you want more mind-blowing stories about how humans defy nature with technology, hit that subscribe button and join us for more insane innovations coming your way.